Ooh.
Oh, hello everyone. I'm sorry if you hear stuff in the background, but this Bose, it's not working. Been trying for 20 minutes. It's a great end of the day.
Do you want to borrow my headphones?
I wish so. You just send it through, and that would be great. Thank you.
Give me a couple minutes.
Yeah. But I know for a fact I'm not writing tonight because yesterday was a dumpster fire. You're there. It says productivity sprints and chill. It doesn't say writing sprints and chill. All disappointed. Look, I'm
I'm not
just
disappointed.
happy that I'm here.
Look, it is what it is, and as long as you're
I
happy,
did,
that's all that matters.
I didn't sleep well last night. I had to take a big ZQL. Um, and then
Okay.
I woke up like 2 hours earlier than usual, like 5 a.m. or whatever it was. Could not go back to sleep, so I was tossing and turning. It was not a good day yesterday, everyone. Um, I went to the doctor's office and I was treated like trash, and that was one of the few times where I was like, "Oh wow, I can't get a word in edgewise to even stand up for myself." I'm like, "What the hell is going on here?" And I posted it on the YouTube community tab. And I was talking to Thomas for a good like 45 minutes because I was upset, and then my husband was gone. I wasn't going to bother him. But
Yeah,
then
I'm
I
the
bothered him when
stand-in.
he got back. Yeah, I bothered him when I came back. Oh, and I think I bothered Patrick as well. And I bothered Erica. I bothered a few people. But I was angry crying as I was walking home from the doctor's appointment. And oh yeah, Thomas, the what is it? The test results all came back negative. Oh my god,
That's great.
what a surprise.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying like what we were all saying. Yeah, but because my anxiety was there, I was like there might be a 1% chance.
Yeah. There's
So
always a chance, you know?
I couldn't sleep. And then in the morning I got the test result. I'm like, okay. And then the test result with the cholesterol that I was pining over for the past few years,
It's
saying you
perfect.
should check it. No, it's not perfect. But
No.
she didn't want to talk about that at all. And she just added it last minute after I told her like 5 times. So, I had a great workout today.
Excellent. What you
I'm
do?
I did um I I don't know what they're called. It's just my neighbor, personal trainer. She showed me the things, and so I do the things. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, hello, John. He's sprinting to the bookstore. I wish I could do the same.
Can't
And
stay. I gotta go get some meds at work. Just wanted to stop a light and coming.
oh, and thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Yeah, as I admitted right out the bat, I'm not pretty going to be productive today. No, I will. I will eat dinner,
Dinner.
and I will most likely edit 2 booktube videos. Oh,
Oh, there you go. There you go. You're not gonna do
that's
crunches in the
something.
background?
No, I can't do a lot of things because of my sciatica and my bulging disc in my spine.
That's fair. That's fair. I can't do a lot of things because I'm lazy.
Well, yeah, no, from April and May, I was stress eating for various reasons,
You look
everyone.
great
So,
though. You look great.
yeah, but I gained back all the weight that I lost when I was behaving. And I'm just like, I was just thinking, what would have the cholesterol looked like when I was 135 and eating the cleanest I've ever have in my whole life? Maybe I'm just thinking I might have messed up with all the fast food.
Maybe, but I eat like crap, and my cholesterol's great. I'm 200
Well,
pounds, 5'9.5", but I got the bad lungs. But the secret
Yeah.
is stress. Cholesterol is
I'm
affected by your
stressed all the
stress. Right?
time. Oh, yeah.
It rises. You got to be like, none of it matters. What matters is, am I having fun? You know,
Yeah.
Marcus Aurelius says not to care about the things because the people who judge you will be gone. The things
Mhm.
we worry about when it comes to what people may think of us, they will be gone. I remember caring about high school kids. I haven't even
Oh,
seen their names
no.
since I got the restraining order to stay away from the high schools because of my age. But like, I don't even think of them now.
Oh, no. Yeah, no, I guess there's some drama happening on Threads or Twitter. Or I don't. Threads looks the same as X. I don't care. I'm not
Are
on
you
either
on
of them,
Threader?
but
Are you on
nope.
Threader? Are you on Threader?
It's like the same thing, Thomas. Just mush them together. About like some writer, maybe, or maybe no, I think she published whatever. Where the whole if you're in, like, even if you're just in and you lurk, but if you're in the 20 books to 50K Facebook group, then you're not an artist and you're ruining everything. I'm like, I know we're just messing it up, Thomas. So sad. They don't write about, or they don't talk about craft at all in the 20 books to 50K whatever
What's
group.
craft? What is that?
Yeah,
So
what is
like
craft?
the cheese? Craft
Yes,
cheese?
craft art,
Craft?
crafts, arts and crafts. Um, and I'm like, well, I could see if like you joined it or something, thinking it's all about craft, but you get like marketing stuff, and then you see all those. There are quite a few right to sell people in there, but then there's also right to market, and right to market is just hitting the beats and getting the beats right, which is that makes it a mystery, or it makes it a epic fantasy. And maybe there's passion project, I don't know. But yeah, I just like to look. I don't see
I just like to
that's
look too, but they get mad when
yeah.
they see me in the window.
Yeah. Well, apparently this person just rages over the 20 books to 50K group. I'm
How's
like,
that go? How's that go?
is that okay? Do you really want to do this every time? I don't think it's that serious, but oh yeah, no. I guess it is because I was shown a picture of her
Can
going
I tell
off.
you a story that will defy how stupid people are?
Oh yeah.
So when I was big in the comedy scene, okay, I was a name, I was established. I was outside a club, right? I didn't do open mics. I wasn't like that guy, you know, and I only did performances if I was booked or if a friend was like, you want to jump on, like if I was somewhere. So keep that in mind. I was at Peeping Tom Strikes Again. That's right. Literally Peeping Tom. So I was outside a club where they do open mic nights, but I was there because my friends were there and like I was just hanging out. And this kid comes up to me. He goes, "Oh, hey, I see you around. You've been doing this for a while." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You have any advice?" I go, "Yeah, don't do open mic nights." And he goes, "Why?" I go, "Because you're trying to discover your voice in front of comics that aren't giving you the feedback you need because their heads are in their phone working on what set they're going to tell. They don't care about you. You're not friends with them. You're new here. So what you should be doing is building relationships with people because then when you go up, your friends are going to watch you and give you feedback. However, if you really want to just work the craft of comedy, just try to get on crappy shows where even if they're bringers, because you need a crowd to, you know, dictate whatever. So I went on about that. And the guy was like, so you're telling me not to do shows? I should focus on people. I go, well, if you want to be successful, you got to focus on people. If you want to just hone your craft, you got to perform in front of people, not comedians, unless those comedians are your friends, in which case you could perform at home and there could be 7 of you and you guys take turns. Because if somebody sees you in the field and you're not good and they're a booker, they're not going to book you. They're going to write you off because they don't know you. So they're going to just assume that's your quality, right? Anyway, to my point, somebody else was there and they stepped up and they go, "You don't do shows?" I go, I don't do open mics. I only perform, like I work in private, or I have groups of people I pull together and we hone our skills together. And he goes, "I will always be better than you because I get on the stage as much as possible. Therefore, I will always be more successful than you." So then I said, "That's great. What's your day job?" And he tells me his day job. And I go, "That's wonderful. My day job is I'm standing out here and I have the choice to perform or not perform. I have the choice to act or not act. I don't have a job." And he goes, "How's that even possible?" And I go, "Because I don't do what you do. All you do is go on that stage. And then you go to the next stage and the next stage. What I do is I build relationships. My name has value in this industry." My point is the person who's like, "You got to write like this, or this is how writing, or you have to have 30,000 books, or, if you're not writing, whatever, you got to wear a chicken hat, or you're not." It's like, look, how to become successful is going to be different for everybody. The variables are always the same. Or I should say the variables change, but the path is always going to be the same, but the variables are going to be different. And the variables are, maybe I don't want to go out and network, but you still have to network, right? But when people start getting into the craft, like they start, "Oh, you got to get on stage every time. You got to write only fantasy. You got to only perform in lead roles." Like, that's bad advice. They're misleading the greatness that is in everybody, that's dormant in people that have these passions. And it's okay to just be passionate about your writing. There's nothing wrong with that. But the moment you want to become successful, you have to think like a business. But some people think my way of thinking like a business is the only way. And if you don't do this thing and wear the chicken hat, you will be a failure and you can't be in this group. You're not allowed to be around us because you don't have a chicken hat. And you need chicken hats to be awesome. And it's like, gli fa, state zitta, aspetta, go ne maccio, fangule, manana cino, la minghia head, right? Like, it's BS. Anyway, what do we got here? Was there a fist fight afterwards? There was not. There was not. You would think there would be, but I'm very nice when I'm being sarcastic, and I you got to be very very nice when you're being sarcastic.
Yeah, see, that's why the hot takes online, where it's like 280 characters or less, and sometimes they're in like caps where like you're getting screamed at. I'm like, I'm not gonna listen. I don't know what this is doing for you. I don't know. I'm sure, I'm absolutely sure there are people that see, those lit RPG writers, they're pushing out a book a month, and it's just like, bro. But then you're making like $1 million. That's what they want to do. Cool. And if they think that that's art, I can't say that that's, if they think this lit RPG art that they're putting out every month, okay, they're making a lot of money on that art. And some of them don't think that way. They think, "Oh, this is easy."
Yep.
I can't fill in the blank for like, what is it, like 50,000 people and 20 books to 50K. I have no idea what any one of, maybe you, because you're in there, I think, and maybe like 2 other people that I know. But how many people? Also, I bet those are bots. I mean, 50K, or maybe it's at 60,000 members. It's a lot. Like, you can't look at that stuff and like they'll post, and a lot of the people that are doing those books every month or every other month, they're dictating, and they heavily outline, and like they have like personal assistants and all that stuff. So it is hardcore business. Now, you don't need to do that whatsoever. I don't think no one tells you on there, as I can see, to do it this way. They post so much that you can pick and choose. I haven't posted on there for a long time. I just scroll. But if you want to see what a bunch of people are doing and a shit ton of genres, go for it. But I don't get the anger. But what is under the anger? That's what
Annoyance.
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah. Or like being sad about something, I don't comprehend. I am not like, I used to be extremely angry, but what I have heard many, many times is that the anger is masking something else.
Yeah, you're Irish.
That's not masking anything. Y'all know that I'm Irish.
I mean, the Irish, you're masking the Irish anger.
No, I was
with normal anger.
Yeah. Well, for a very, very long time, I was angry at myself and everyone in the world and how life sucks and it's unfair. But then I was like, well, I'm just kind of slowly poisoning myself into being miserable. Is that productive? It's not. So, you're doing a huge thread about, I don't even know, because it was just one tweet, but supposedly it was a thread of writers not doing it properly in this group. And then, oh, you're ruining art and fuck everyone ruining art. And I'm just like, I want to go eat lunch. Thanks for sending that to me, but that does not need to affect you or anyone else.
Yeah.
And just put the phone down. It wasn't even at anyone. I guess it was just like a broad thread tweet, whatever. I don't care.
People are weird.
Take a breath, everyone. Look at what your goals are. And they're going to be different for everyone. And then if you want to say you want to be a 7-figure author, well, there is some stuff you need to do. Okay. But I don't think a lot of people are really working towards 7 figures. A lot of them are trying to like build their brand up with their books, but like there are, I think now 60 million books on Amazon alone. It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
7.
Yeah, and then also, this year, 2 wars going on, multiple civil wars. There's the election in many different countries, not just
an election. What's that?
Well,
does that come with the blue pill?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, you said election.
Election.
Sorry.
You need to get your shit together, Thomas.
Can I push back on one of the things?
There's just a lot of stuff going on, and I don't know if people are really at this moment thinking, I'm going to buy 10 books this month or whatever.
You got to get the right person. Yeah, to buy a book. I kind of want to push back on the great number on Amazon. There's this thing, you ever hear that the cream will rise, right? The cream will rise, right? The greatness will rise. The other thing is, let's say there's let's just lower the number to 1,000 books. Out of those 1,000 books, there's probably 10% of those books, let's say 100, that are even worth looking at, right? But 10% of those 100 books, right, which is 10, are probably putting some money into marketing. And out of those 10 books, 10% of them, which is one person, is most likely developing a brand and representing that brand. So what does that mean? It means that 900 of those books no one even knows exists. 100 of those books, maybe people know they exist, but they're not really being marketed. 10 of those books people are hearing about, but they're not interested. But that one person, which is a good percentage to be in, that 1%, is getting people to click on their link that are not friends or family. They're people that love reading. They're people that maybe like that genre, whatever the case may be. So when you hear big numbers like that, let's say 60 million books, right? Whatever it is. That doesn't mean it's going to derail the potential for someone else to be noticed. Because you got to remember, the secret to being noticed is by holding it up. So no one would know I'm drinking Diet Cherry Pepsi until I held it. Ipsy. No one would know that I was drinking this until I did this. And that's the same thing with books. That's the basis of advertisement. Is it doesn't matter how amazing it is, if you do not show somebody, you will never ever sell. And advertisement is a numbers game. So the more people that see it consistently, not if 1 million people see it, then I'll definitely make a sale. It's consistently the same. What?
It's what the average is. You see an advertisement 7 times and then someone is interested.
Yeah, it's called imprint marketing. These are the reasons why we hate like popular songs, and then by like the 30th time hearing it, someone's like, "Oh, you want me to change this? I know you don't like it." You're like, you can leave it on, and you're like, right, and you're like singing fucking but that's the same thing with everything: movies, books, comedy, right? So if you're interested in selling books, you got to focus on advertisement and building your brand if you want to have a future. So advertisement will get you sales, but branding, marketing, like advertising that brand, which is marketing, you'll actually create consistency and a longevity. But if you're worried that, I'm releasing my book and there's 10,000 books were released this month, like they're not doing the work. They're just like, I wrote 10 books this year. They're all 5,000 words each.
That's not a book. That's a short story.
You know what I'm saying? They don't know. They're just we did it. It's like really thin. It's like, look at the book. I'm a published author. You're like, that's a pamphlet.
Just published but good for you. Mm-hmm. I get. No. Well, then also, you then all the 60 million. But let's go into, let's say, genre. Because 60 million is a lot, and then you're like, why? Me, help. And then, so let's go to urban fantasy and say, let's just go with 60,000. That doesn't feel as bad, but there are quite a few writers that are doing very well, that are just like they're working it as a brand, but then there are also ones that are writing to sell. Have not read the writing to sell. I am checking out the ones that I know are having a fun time, and they think it's art, and they're putting their spin on it. I'm sorry, someone said that Buffy the Vampire Slayer is an art. Oh, well, because
to make bad stuff good, that is an art.
Hey,
what?
Excuse me. I'm not saying Joss Whedon is. I'm saying urban fantasy.
The movie's great. The show.
No, it's not.
The movie is the only reason it exists. Listen. Ben Affleck is dubbed over in that movie. It's great. He's got one line, and they dubbed him over with someone else's voice. That movie is great.
It's very campy. Yeah, but then Joss was like, no, let's do urban fantasy. And it's like, it's sarcastic, but it's serious. And we love to see it.
It's seriously sexist, but Tankle. I just don't like when he does the same joke every couple episodes, because he's like, maybe people forgot about this, and you're just like, he just changed the words, but it's the same joke. And he's like, I write powerful women, but he's like, I just want to be around women so I can make them uncomfortable,
Yeah, Joss has a problem, but No, I thought it was hilarious because I love James Marsters. Okay,
Excellent.
and I'm Team Spike.
Yeah. How can
I
he not
can't
be?
stand Angel.
He was
I
supposed to
I
die at the end of the year, at the first season.
I know. Okay, look, I know all this stuff, Thomas. You think that I
See?
don't know?
I'm just saying, I could
But
dislike it because I know a lot about it.
you know, I know. I like it. Okay, and that's why I know
It
about
loves you.
it. But James Marsters didn't see the stuff going on, but then he said that Joss kind of cornered him after it was Spike was the fan favorite, and
Yeah, and
like
he's
you
like, I
gotta,
wanted you dead. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. That's crazy.
Like, Joss, you like even like go into like the early 2000s, the mid 2000s, he's still dealing with high school issues from when he was in high school or whatever, bullied. Dude, you're a huge director. I think maybe get some therapy, intense therapy, not just directing it through your issues because it's obviously not working.
Yeah.
You didn't direct or write through your issues because
No.
how many people have lined up and said you were an ass? Like, I don't understand. I don't, yeah, no. And then, stuff happened with him and his wife. Actually, it was him. And yeah, no, I think when people are extremely vocal on certain things and they
Yeah.
do not stop, there's something there, and it happened.
Right.
With
That's why I'm a writer. I'll never have to worry about making anyone uncomfortable at the office.
no, but then when you publish,
Oh, that's
then
out
you
of my
want
hands.
anyone uncomfortable.
No,
Well,
I
that's
am
true.
not responsible for how people react to material that is technically art. That's like me making a red painting, and then people are like, he's portraying hate and anger and killing, and you're like, why? Because it's red and it reminds me of blood. And then you go, so why'd you make that? You go, well, red's my favorite color. Well, why? Well, it reminds me of my mother because she loved the song Lady in Red, and it was the song that she danced with my father in their 25th anniversary. And now, like, who's right and who's wrong? Both are right. It's their representation of the art, but I'm not responsible for somebody's perspective. I'm responsible for my behavior.
Yeah.
My behavior,
Did
but
you get that from your therapist?
no, I study psychology because because I love story. Psychology was one of my passions growing up. I still study it today, but I studied human behavior. I actually created a conversational technique called TAC, the art of conversation, based on psychological triggers and processes. And it's something that I actually spoke about at colleges and speaking engagements. And I am widely aware of Somebody's actually asked me today about OCD or like changing your behaviors, and I was like, well, first you have to start with your triggers. You can't just be like, I'll just do this other thing. Like you have to identify the triggers, and then when you start becoming self-aware of the triggers and your response to it, then you have to start creating. That's why they usually have that, like, the rubber band on your wrist, like it'll like.
Oh, they don't do that anymore.
Well, I'm just
But
saying that's
well, no, for certain things they do. Like if you're picking at your zits, they'll do
yeah.
that. You have to be like, ow, because that's what I did. Because I would pick at my zits and make them worse.
Yeah,
but then I had to snap them. It stopped. But then also you have a chance of getting used to it, and then now you don't have anything left because it's like Pavlovian response. What other?
Yeah. The idea is,
oh my god, kitty! Wow!
Hey, Tubes. Hey, Tubes.
Yeah, just that butt show. That's fine.
She's just staring at me. No, you're right. You're right. Like you don't want a trigger, a misdirect for a trigger to turn into a trigger. It's sort of like if every time I said bumbo and then I would drink, right? Mm-hmm. Eventually people would start drinking when I said bumbo if they watched it enough, because you create trigger responses.
Aren't people great?
They are interesting right now. You can actually, yes. That's why I think it's funny when everyone. Yes.
Well, no, I love to say we're smart and stupid at the same time.
We're ridiculously dumb, intelligent people.
Yes. I say
I
that for
always.
myself.
Oh, you can't talk bad about yourself. Bruce Lee said, "Don't taint the soul," right? Because we influence ourselves.
Oh,
But
no,
I hate when people are like narcissists. Everyone's a narcissist. This guy was a narcissist. That girl's, and you're like, you don't even know what that means.
yeah, you don't know what that's TikTok pop
Yeah,
psychology. Like yeah.
you could have
No, but
narcissistic behavior, but that doesn't make you a narcissist. You
yeah,
know,
you
like
gotta
there
be.
are certain things we could do, but it doesn't necessarily identify. You're not like, oh, I did this one thing, or I do this one thing, but that doesn't, like, you have to have several elements
You
of an,
basically have to have most, if not all, of the list
yeah,
criteria to have
you
yeah,
know,
and then people don't know what that means. Um, no, but I say like my brain is smart and stupid at the same time because it will like writing, yeah, so great, like how many books published, amazing, okay, and then it will go, don't go outside because a meteor will fall on you and you will die.
that's true.
That's stupid. No,
No,
that's stupid. That's why I'm saying smart and stupid at the same time. But then the smart side comes out of me, and then I say, "Well, I'm gonna walk outside," and then I just stand there. Where's the meteor?
yeah,
You told me that I can't go outside or else. Well, I just went outside or else. That would be an exposure for OCD. Yes, I've had that thought before many times. Okay, that's
yeah. But
why I'm
what if a
saying
meteor does hit you, and that one time?
I don't see anything happening now, Thomas. Where do we go? Where is it?
Dead
Okay, I
like
forget.
me. That's how she died, right? The
Oh,
author's
no.
behaving badly playlist by Reads with Rachel begs to differ.
I watch her on and off, and there are some things where it's like, you think that as an opinion, not necessarily that's a horrible person. Like,
What is the beg for differ though? Like, what is that in reference to? Because I don't know
I
the.
don't remember. Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, well, and also, oh yeah, I was seeing, okay, I finally finished Bunny by Mona Awad. Okay, amazing, great. Did a book review on it, but
Yeah.
people didn't realize it was satire, and so people were like thinking she was insulting just a shitload of people. She's making fun of literary snobs, yes, and sometimes you do. The one that thinks that they are the next great and they can't finish one manuscript because they are just too brilliant, and then like they'll just think
Oh,
about it
yeah.
over
Yeah.
and over again, and it's been like 20 years, and I'm like, weird. Just finish it. No, but I can't because I'm just
Must be
I'm
proud.
just I gotta do it eventually, but like I can't, but but I'm like, some people are weird. I did not go to graduate school for creative writing because I spoke to a professor and he's like, don't do it, and then
Yeah. Money.
two, yeah, and then two, you just see some of those creative writers and you're like, are you okay? I think you're taking it a little too seriously.
Okay.
Maybe you just need to sit down and write. But they think that they're the next big thing. But where are you getting that from?
Yeah, great writing does not make great sales, and the reason is because there are
Also, you got to
lots of.
finish it.
Well, no, let's say they
You
do
need to
finish
finish
it. You know,
something.
it's that old theory. Is like you see an amazing musician on the road, and you're like, this person is playing better than I've ever even thought to play the guitar, and they're on the street just trying to make a couple dollars. Like there is a difference between being great at something and then being able to sell something. It also, I think we talked about this once or twice, but like it's the idea that great writing can be disliked, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and poor
I think,
writing can be
yeah,
loved.
yeah. I think
So
her writing is amazing, but it made me feel high and crazy as fuck. But that's why it's great writing, because you got me to feel high.
Stoned.
Yeah.
There's LSD on the pages. I hate to inform you.
I know. Well, I might have sniffed something, but she embedded it. Her and her publisher embedded it in Bunny. But, and that's why it's not actually the writing; it's the cocaine in between the pages. But yeah, then I like, if you're looking for a literary masterpiece, it's not Sarah J. Maas, but I am so totally invested that I'm crying. But then, you know, she'll use like the word mate 300 times in her book, whatever, or just use the C word many times to
Oh,
describe.
clouds. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I wish.
Clarence.
Yeah.
Is this a character or is this a thing that happened? Is this a verb or a character? It's Clarence.
It's a object.
Shirley, you must be joking. I am not, and don't call me Shirley.
Yeah.
I speak a little jive. That's like having autistic or ADHD behaviors. That's dyslexia. There's things that I do here and there that fit, but I have neither of those diagnoses. Chicken or the other one? I would
it's
say
not see you next Tuesday. It's another one.
See you next Tuesday. I always wondered about that acronym because it doesn't technically work. Because U is Y.
No,
YOU. Because if there's three,
we're just trying so you don't say that word because we're not in English. Well, no, you spell it. You're sorry. You say.
I just say Carol, and that everybody knows she's a.
Well, but it's not that one that Sarah J. Maas loves to use.
I actually don't use that word except for when I say it or write it down.
Right. Have I used it?
She's a
writing. I haven't. I will say see you next Tuesday all the time, but my husband does not care. And then I'll say it to Aussies, and you need to get your shit together. I will say it to people other than Americans because they don't think it's as offensive. We're doing acting now. Are we acting?
Call me the chicken.
Yeah, so we started out strong, and I don't know where we went. What were we talking about? We were so serious.
Periods, I think, right? Or commas.
See you next Tuesday. That's what
we were talking about okay, when Australians saying it. Well, that's well, because they look sexy when they're saying, we were discussing how originally I think it was just the concept of people gatekeeping concepts, ideas, or groups because they were like, you need a chicken hat, or whatever they're
yeah, or like you have to do it a certain way. There are 8 billion people in the world. That's not going to happen. Okay,
that's right.
That's why
not everybody's standing up.
No, well, that's also why I'm like, I don't know if I can give you advice because I'm not you. I can give you broad advice, but I'm
or
not
dude advice.
What joke is
well, you
that?
said broad advice. So what about dude advice?
No, there's different. There's two. And I meant
broad.
One.
This broad is giving me advice.
Hey.
Thank you. Good night.
Oh. Eloise, you need to get him today.
I used to be loved. I remember when I was funny.
Yeah. Well,
please tip the waiters.
Yeah, we could also move on because I think we. I don't know what we're doing anymore.
There is a device that actually helps with that as well.
Yes, it's for hiking.
Called putting your thumb over it like a hose, and then you basically it's summertime.
Yes. But then, I did.
Fair enough.
Well, Jonathan found you first, and I don't know where Jonathan went, and so I just picked you up, Thomas, and I went,
Mine. Yeah, it's it is a poor device. I mean, your thumb
someone
gets
tried
wet. It's
it.
terrible. It's terrible, and you're like, ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jonathan did find me first. Does not work properly unless proper technique is used. Correct.
That's for that's for so much going on right now. I don't
What's
know.
going on?
We're okay. Maybe.
We read that book before coming on. Got his eye.
Well, maybe. I don't know if it might be okay if my OCD is gonna say that the house is on fire if I don't run outside or something. Oh well, no. This is cute. It reminds me of fire.
Yes, those are cute.
I'm on fire today. That's how my ADD goes. I say fire. Oh my god, look at my shirt.
I get it. I get it. It reminds me, I gotta go to the store.
Yeah.
I gotta get stuff for the what is that, herpes? So it's on fire. I'm not. Oh, you're not talking about the thumb. You're talking about the little. Yes, yeah, that's for camping. It's for camping. That's right.
Yeah. Camping World. We are not sponsored. Thank you.
Please send us a check.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh, we just went all off. 41 minutes,
Nice.
but we had 6 people at one point. I don't know what happened there.
What do we got? One now?
We're back at 4. We're back at 4.
Oh. Hiwi, yes, not effective. You got to try the Hiwi.
Or the Hiwi.
That's right. The Hiwi makes it so guys can sit down. It's called a toilet.
Mm-hmm. No, but oh no. They have both. They have both. They have yeah. And
yeah, it's called a hermaphrodite.
No, I think in the bathrooms you have 2 options. We have 1.
We do. We have the floor or the toilet.
Oh yeah, because those urinals are disgusting. And
that is true.
Just 18 plus years. I feel like it's a whole lifetime.
As my father used to say, don't talk to women or children, because if you talk to women, they give you children. And I said to him, but Dad, you did that. And he goes, you see my point.
Oh yeah, because you're a hot mess. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
that's a great thing to start to wrap up that our long conversation. You forgot to add the little tickety talk tinkle tinkle thing.
Tinkle tinkle. What do you mean? It's right here. It's right there. You don't see it?
Oh yeah, no, I see
that's right there.
Well, I'm gonna not be writing productive, but overall productive, because like I said in the beginning that I'm sure some people missed, I had a really bad day yesterday. So I'm not mentally all there.
Are you gonna finish your belly button tattoo that you're working on?
How do you do a belly button tattoo?
I don't know. I just tattooed lint in there, so it always looked like I had perpetual lint in my belly button.
I always have lint. I gotta clean it out daily, so that's not gonna work for me.
With a hose, with like a vacuum.
No, like a little Q-tip or whatever you call it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you gotta get that together. I'll give you tips or whatever.
I let strangers do it, and I give them a penny for each piece of lint they find. All right, so let's do
just
right.
go.
Here you go.
We lost 3 people because of that.
They'll come
We're down to 2 now. What do we do? The dad jokes lose them.
Once they know I'm gone, they'll come back. All right, here you go. Here you go. Have fun writing.
Wakey, wakey.
Twinkle, twinkle.
Is it Twinkle?
It's Tinkle, but you know.
Yeah, I said Twinkle, Twinkle, Little copyright.
Twinkle, tinkle, twinkle, Shiwi star. What is it called? The Shiwi or something?
I don't know.
The Shiwi. Yeah, the tinkle, 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 Shiwi star. Oh yeah.
Well, what did you get down there, buddy?
I was working on adding a note into a scene where Aaliyah, a bard, is running along the rooftops at night. Oh Lord. And she basically stops and she's looking around the city high top, and she sees the temple of Karina, the white walls that surround the city, and of course off in the distance the mountains that trail off to the capital, Morntarn, of the kingdom of Morntarn. So add that little bit of information in there, but it's through her it's filtered through her experience, and she's waiting for her buddy to get closer. She's faster than he is because he's not really in good shape, so she's just waiting, and it's a quick moment, but it leads to a discussion that's important, that leads to another discussion that's important, and so on and so on.
Yeah, I ate dinner and I said hello to my husband.
Did you give him one of these hugs like this and then squeeze his little butissimo, his butt? What is it called? Gluteus maximuses?
No, but I will let him know that you were fantasizing about that. Shared it with everyone.
Tell him I was wearing my chicken hat, so I'm allowed to be there. Oh Lord!
Throw that up. Yeah. She's going to say that on behalf of everyone. Well, I got a snappity Snapchat of a question.
Oh, yeah?
Friend that's watching. She asked, what do you think it... Oh, no, I lost it. Hate when snaps disappear. It was basically...
Can't you just scroll the screen down?
No, because I hate this. Okay.
Did you find
it? We were talking a lot as well. What do you count as an artistic film? Like, do you, or we could even think more broadly, what do you think film-wise be considered art? Because there's that whole debate, with superheroes and stuff, that it's not like
it's not cinema.
Yeah.
Well, cinema.
They do.
Okay.
Yeah, I know superhero movies get very repetitive. Like I'm watching and I had to stop because I'm like, it's the same shit over and over again of the Marvel, and I'm like, no. We're going to stop right here. I can't. Like, I'm so bored. The only things that were interesting to me in that lineup that we got to was Guardians of the Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Iron Man. And then I also really enjoyed Deadpool. Those are the three superhero, whatever, movies that I enjoy. But then I've been told they don't count. So I'm like, okay, well, they're great.
Count.
Yeah. Minus Deadpool, they're in the lineup. The Iron Man and the Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, but they do things differently. I think that's the point. You can do superhero or westerns or whatever and do it differently and not the same thing over and over and over again, where then it's like it's the same thing, but you named the characters wrong, like differently and all that stuff. And that's where it will become that's when people have problems.
I mean, let's be honest. There's only so many stories you could tell, right? So,
yeah,
it's really execution. As far as what cinema is, I'll go to the other question. But cinema by definition is anything that is filmed. And then it's a cinematic experience because moving pictures. However, what is art? Traditionally, art is when it's experimental from the standard mold, right? So, like, is art painting by colors? Is that considered art? Or is art when you paint outside the colors, right? Or outside the lines? And that really becomes a debate. I personally think anything can be art, including a pencil. It's when we look at things and have an emotional response to it, and it makes us think. Art is ultimately something that should perpetuate emotional currency, like, or I mean current. Like you could look at a design. If you look at a logo and you're like, wow, that logo is really good, like you start like enjoying the look of it, the color. That's art. Anything could be art. The way a friend talks could be art. The way, the style in which one performs could be art.
Mhm.
Art is a representation of expression, but it is not the definition of perception, right? Because again, if I paint something red, somebody's going to perceive that differently than what maybe propelled me to create it as an art student. That's, I started as an illustrator and everything. And but yeah, so if we're talking about film, traditionally art films are when they kind of like experiment. They go outside the mold. They do not paint within the lines. Uh, what's it? If it's created with effort by a human being, I'd call it art. I agree with that. I mean, that's like the argument. Like, is it a musical or an opera? And the actual, because I got into a debate with someone about this, because I had a career in music and I studied music, and they were saying that whatchamacallit, Les Miserables is considered an opera. Um, and I was like, no, it could be an opera, but the reason it's a musical is because that was its intent. And they were telling me, no, that's not true. And then I said, well, I'm writing a musical that is a heavy metal album, like at the time. And he goes, but there's no like talking or acting, and it's all singing, so it's an opera. And I says, I do not agree with that. And yeah, Hamilton would be an opera, yeah, because it's all sung, right? There's no quote unquote talking; it's rapped. But so I went and studied like a bunch of theses on it because they did like tons of studying on this argument,
Mhm.
and it comes down to ultimately what is the intent, because opera was always the first thing, and then opera turned into this thing where they would do like a monologue in the middle of like the opera where it was somebody came out and talked, and then people were getting kind of bored with that, so they wanted a more of a story, a performance, and then that slowly became what we call musicals. So musicals are technically operas, but because the intent is to create movement and allow a story to, because it's not just people coming out and just standing there going, no, like, even though they might be singing, Italian or French, uh,
Mhm.
so I had to show him the breakdown of the theses for him to believe me. And I was like, why couldn't you just believe me in the beginning? Like, that this is like one of my areas of expertise is music. And he's like, because I heard once. Like, I know you heard once, but this is the world. I've written musicals. Like, what I'm saying? Like, it's intent. That's it. So art is intent. If your intent is to create something, that's art. So I agree with your the effort by a human being. So essentially, opera is a musical where they don't move. When I say move, I mean movement. So like the scene would become it would evolve. So in opera, the scene evolves through the story, but not necessarily the performance. So I guess, yeah, in layman's, I guess I could say, yeah, I guess that makes sense too. Like they move around, but I have seen opera where they do move, like, they are moving around the stage, but something should become part of the story. Yeah, they don't dance. I would agree with that. A lot of the times, but like someone will come out and be like, and then they'll go on their knee, unless it's Pavarotti, he just stands there at the mic. I get that, but there are small examples, especially German plays, where there might be some movement. But when I say movement, as per the thesis, it means that the scenes evolve. And in opera, traditionally, the scene only evolves lyrically through the copy or the verbiage, whereas a musical, the performance itself evolves. That was long-winded. I agree with you, Eloise. In that case, the one time I argue, like, so an opera is those dream casts where they all just agreed. Except for the one defining factor, which is the intent was that it is a musical. That's the only thing that would debunk that argument. But I would agree with you that when people just stand around, it's an opera. But it's like a table read, is a table read of a play still a performance? And it's like, it could be. They are performing. They're just sitting at a table, though, in front of an audience, and it's still technically a performance. It's just not. It's not evolving as a performance. It's just evolving as dialogue and a stationary performance. But
it depends. It's subjective. That's why there's no hard science when it comes to art and beauty and aesthetics, and that is classified under philosophy, where you debate about it, but you can't prove beauty because beauty is different everywhere.
Yeah. The only pushback I would have on that, Nicole, is that if it is defined as a debate, then there is an objective position, because a debate is based on proving an objective position. But I do agree.
Then you debate back and say, that person's attractive because of XYZ, and then the other person's like, I don't think that's hot, so that's not attractive, and this is what I think, and then you're gonna just go back and forth.
Yeah, those are objective positions, though, because they are trying to prove their position is objective. Are you debating debates? Yes, we are.
Yes. That's philosophy.
Philosophy.
I had a few philosophy professors were like, you would do great if you minored in philosophy. And I'm like, what am I going to do with that? What am I going to do? It is not going to happen. I also had a sociology professor say that I should minor or major in sociology. And I'm like, oh, what am I going to do with that? I mean, at least with my English degree, I can be like, I do administrative assistance and run a whole section.
Yeah, right. It's like,
but philosophy. We're gonna think about things a lot, and then we're gonna debate them in the Socratic method. But
who's gonna get paid for that?
You were gonna go here. Yeah. No, it was the same for creative writing. I heard, what? I don't need to do. I don't need to. Yeah, I would have fully regretted if I got a master's in creative writing, because where am I right now?
That's what I'm saying. The last time I listened to anybody about getting a minor, I ended up in a cavern that collapsed when I was chipping away with a pickaxe.
I said a
minor.
No, I said a master's degree.
Yeah, you said my professor suggested that I get a minor.
Yeah,
in philosophy, and so my joke is, last time someone suggested I get a minor. Anyway.
Yeah, that was past, because now we were talking about
callback. It's callback.
Okay. Well, I'm just accept that, I guess. But no, but then yeah, Thomas.
Sorry.
No, well, also, because I had this discussion as well, like the what is that wording? Where it's the depressed artist, fill in the blank artist, Thomas.
The depressed artist?
Yeah, that it has, like, art or literature can't be art if the writer is not depressed, or what is that? Eloise, anyone? I swear to God, it is a whole thing.
Let's see.
The
So do writers well 15 to 50% of writers are depressed.
yeah.
That's crazy. That's a crazy statistic.
So yeah, Louise
Writing
knows.
through the lens of depression.
No. Oh, she knows what I'm talking about. It's a phrase where it's like the oh my god, where the writer is an artist with peak literature capital L because they are so depressed and deprived and all that, and therefore that's the only way you can create capital L literature.
Well, the torture
So,
artist.
this is it. Thank you. Okay, there we go. There we go.
That's
Yes.
okay. The tortured art. Yeah, yeah. Artists are tortured. I disagree with that statement, though. I do agree that people can be artistically creative through depression, but that doesn't mean being creatively expressive means you're depressed. And I don't think one is.
Yeah, I think they get it a lot from like Van Gogh and Ernest Hemingway and
Never
those
heard of
that
them.
they were for sure very troubled, tortured, and they created great art, but it did not end very well. But then the whole thing is like, well, that's actually art. But that I feel that's it might you're treading a very fine line because then you're saying you have to be tortured to create art, and if you're happy then it's not art. And so like, are you gonna become depressed to make art? Like, that's the weird.
I mean, I get depressed reading Stephen King, but
Yeah.
there is a theory that Mozart was actually autistic, and then Beethoven was wealthy and then became broke. So I don't think he was tortured in the beginning, but he did go deaf, and he would have to leave the piano flat on the ground and hit the keys real hard to hear the vibrations and to understand it. But Mozart is actually buried in a nameless grave, a mass grave when he died, because he was technically a servant of the court. But I think the concept. I think the concept for that term comes from needing to have experienced strong emotions to be able to effectively convey it through your art. I mean, there is a good debate in there. However, just even if you're not depressed and you experience love, I would say you'd also be able to experience loss, because what would it feel like to you from your lens to experience loss of that love that you feel, even if you didn't lose it yet? But again, art is playing outside the lines. It's an abstract expression of a truth. We're not talking about craft at this point. Art can just be anything. It could just be a white canvas and just say, this is my soul, and you don't even paint it. We've talked about that before, where people made money on that. But when you talk about craft, there is a technique to evolving art, like even painting. Look at Bob Ross. There's a technique to being Bob Ross, and allowing other people to be able to express ideas that they see. The lines form on the canvas. But what do we got here? She's got more. Have someone who's never experienced heartbreak write a song about it and compare it to someone who has. Again, there are songwriters that I personally know that they get paid to write songs that are either top, top 100, or it's a love song, or it's a heartbreak song, and they don't necessarily live in that torment. They're just writers. Elton John's actual writer was not necessarily a tormented soul in the beginning, and they wrote some really powerful songs in the beginning. It's not that it isn't art, but that your experience is impacted one way or the other. I could have written about motherhood prior to having a child, but it wouldn't be on the same level. I agree with that statement. But the reason is because your lens has been associated with your experience as a mother. But also, there are mothers that give up their children, or they lose, God forbid they lose their children, and their experience as a mother will not be the same as your experience, because you get the blessing of being able to raise children you know. So just the idea of having kids also doesn't necessarily grant you the lens of somebody, because we all live in different experiences, you know. Like there's a really great speaking of psychology, there's a really great psychological debate starter, right? And the question is, well, the scenario is a reporter goes and interviews twins. All right, they are twins. You don't know if they're a guy or a girl. It's just they are twins, and they go to one of them, and they're super successful, multimillionaire. They're CEOs, and the reporter goes, you know, how did you become successful? But your brother is a prisoner and serving life in jail, you know, for murder or whatever. You're not your brother, but your sibling is serving life in jail for murder. And the person says, I don't know. Why don't you ask my father? Right. And then they go and they interview the twin in prison, and they say, you know, how come you're in prison for life for murder, and your sibling is a successful person who, and the person goes, I don't know. Why don't you ask my father? Because they grew up in the same environment, but their lens, their experience, even as twins, completely impacted them differently. It's the same thing with me. I have 3 brothers, and we're nothing. We're nothing alike. We're similar, but we're nothing alike. On paper, we're very similar. You know, we're all boys. We all have beards. I'm attractive. You know, they're not. No, but the argument stands where I am in life and where they are in life. You wouldn't even be like, how are these people related? Because our experiences are molded by what we perceive and how we take in those moments. But I guess my long-winded. I agree with you, but I also don't believe having to be a parent really is the enforcing factor to make somebody have the ability to write families. You know, like, am I forbidden to write families? Will it not be authentic if I talk about a mother with their child or a father with their child, having never had children myself? You know, and that's a big argument in itself, because like I've been in the Hollywood, and you know, you got to write those stories sometimes. You know, like, and you know, if you get hired, you're getting hired because you understand uh, things start inward. Like a single mother is the worst version of writing, just like a single father is the worst version of writing. You can't start there. You got to start inside. You got to go, what is the emotional truth, and what is the course of this? And then you start piling on the outside. You start putting on the skin, the muscles on the bones and the skin, and then the clothing, and so forth and so forth. But what did she say? No, but it's not going to have the same take on it because you haven't been in the. I agree with that. But if you, let's say you were raising your children with another woman, and you were both parenting those children, they also, like, the other person would not be able to write from your experiences, but that doesn't negate that they can't write your experiences, because the whole idea is that you're trying to write truth first, and not necessarily a thing. Like, you know, like they are a fighter, you know. Just like if I wrote a war movie script versus a veteran who's been there, it's not going to hit the same way. My pushback on that is my father went to Vietnam, and he got blown up, and he dealt with PTSD. And I was working on a story about war, not necessarily Vietnam, but war itself. And I was describing somebody going through PTSD. And my father read it, and he had to put it down because he said it felt like he was experiencing PTSD. So just because I wasn't experiencing war PTSD doesn't mean I can't really relate to something in my life that can put me in the shoes. It's like acting. You know, if I'm playing a murderer, I can't experience a murderer. You know, there's no way I'm going, because I haven't murdered anyone publicly, right? So, right, but there is some, yeah. Can we erase that? But there is something about that character who just so happens to be a murderer that I can relate to if I find it. I mean, that's acting 101, you know, to find either you're going through Meisner, living truthfully through imaginary circumstances, like that concept, or if you're trying to, whatever the case may be, there's still a truth. There's always going to be an emotional truth at the core of a character. And if you could find a way to relate to that as a creative artist, either being a performer, a writer, or what have you, you can find a way to portray that character as authentically as possible. I do agree 100% with you, though, that I will never be able to experience something that you have experienced. There's no way. It's impossible. It's completely impossible. Because it's your perspective lens. You know, like. But what do we got? What do we got? She got something else? I'm not saying the scripts would be bad, but the tortured artist. Oh, I'm not saying the scripts would be bad, but the tortured artist, in this case, the vet, would have a better one. And then I'm just making an argument for where the concept of a torture art comes from. I don't disagree with you, John. Oh, yeah, all right. Well, but it's still good. It's still a good position to have to kind of push back against that as a devil's advocate. So I appreciate because that's how you create strong dialogue. You know, to just kind of like discuss and dissect ideas. Which for that, thank you. What are your thoughts on it, Nicole? It's your channel. I'm sorry. I get very passionate about discussing things. I like.
Well, I think people can, if they do it correctly, then they can really write anything. But doing it correctly means you have to care and you have to treat the characters like human beings and research and not have it so you have to know what you're wanting to do going in, and that can be a lot of research. Like I am not indigenous, but I have a lot of non-blood related family members that are, so I grew up around indigenous people, and so I already had that background, and that is how I know a lot to then go in and do even more research on specifically the Pocumtucks and the Two Foxes. But I knew where to go, and I knew what research needed to be done, and also then just me experiencing people and writing characters that how I write characters, it would be like they are real. They are real to me in the story, and therefore it's going to portray out to the reader, hopefully, that they're just like everyone else. I'm reading a real thing, but not really, but really, because they're authentic, and I'm not writing a character, I'm writing a human being that happens to be a character on the page.
Even with your vampire, though. It's a person that is a vampire.
It's a person. Yeah, that's or like even Drew Sill, he's a other being that happens to be a house fairy. He has his own thing going on, and also like Alex and Nina are their own people, and they happen to be together, and they happen to be friends with Tessa. But I think, like, I continually forgot that in Demon Copperhead, who his nickname is Demon, but his name is Damon. So if I say Demon/Damon, apologies, I'm talking about the same person.
Show's over.
Yeah, but Demon is Malusian, so he's white, black, and Native American. He's triracial, and they have a very distinct look because they are Malusians are in a specific area in the Appalachian Mountain area of Kentucky and West Virginia, and I think maybe a little bit in Tennessee, and that's just where they are. And so Barbara Kingsolver did so much work on making every single page authentic and historically accurate and just emotional that I forgot that Barbara was Barbara. I thought it was Demon. I thought it was this 5-year-old growing up into early 20s, and he has fiery red hair and light eyes, and his skin is dark, and he looks nothing like Barbara, but she did a fantastic job through meticulous research and also caring about Demon, that he is now a person, but it happens to be a character. So that's what I think is the most important, and that's how you can write things that you aren't, but you do it so well because you give a shit and you put time and effort into caring. So I put years into all my historical books, and also the care of the characters as well.
Yeah.
I do research for the urban fantasy as well, but I'm not having to go back 200 years, and do like a bunch of historical research to make it, or to build up on the authenticity of a historical fiction novel.
This is why all my characters, their species are cups. They're not physical human beings made of carbon in that sense. They're just cups. The one's a goblet, one is a teacup. They have names. They move around. They're sentient, but they're just cups. And then no one can judge me because no one's ever experienced being a cup, so I can do whatever I want with the cups.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm. You ended that with my lovely spiel inappropriate.
What are you talking about? I agree with you.
No. Well, also, yeah, I get a lot of oh no, I've heard a lot of, like, you have a lot of resiliency, and I'm like, thanks, it's the trauma. It's the trauma, yeah. Do I like? And there's a debate that people, or more like younger people, are not resilient. So like, someone says at their job, oh, can you edit this document? They'll cry, right? And like, that's that's a little much, but they don't have a built-up resiliency, and there are lots of reasons why, but let's not get into lots.
I agree with that statement, by the way. I'm Gen X, and
yeah.
I think millennials, your categories as millennial. I think millennials are not as resilient as Gen X, but they have a tough backbone, and I think the big difference is, I didn't get home until like 11 at night, and I was like 6. Like my parents would be like, go outside, and then we'd go outside, run around the woods, talk to strangers, eat random stuff, and then we'd come home, and they wouldn't even know we were gone, right? So but millennials, at least, the parents were like, where are you going?
Well, I also had the not so great childhood, and that's where a lot of the trauma comes from. And then also both sides of the family have the mental illnesses. I've got like 6. Okay. So like,
hey, I'm not saying millennials didn't get out unscathed. I'm just saying, but Xennials, on the other hand, you could be like, oh, can you come in at 4 in the afternoon? 4? I have Pilates.
I know. Yeah. No, but yeah, there's the resiliency thing, and then people will like will talk and they're like, "Oh my God, you're so resilient." You know, don't you wish these younger people are resilient? And I'm like, yeah, not how I went about it. Nope. Nope. Because that was I don't wish childhood trauma on anyone just for them to become resilient. So there are other ways, not like being completely traumatized for a good portion of your life and only getting better through very intense therapy for 7 years. Like there's
But you're
better
you're
ways.
but you're probably somebody that if you gave your word that you would do something, you would do it. And then
Yeah.
once you had to do it, you wouldn't be like, yeah, but I wanted to start working out, and if I'm going to work out, I have to work out at this time. So now I got to cancel my word. And you're like, yeah, but your word was that you agreed to come to the job. Like I'm seeing that now from people. They're just like, well, they agree to
How?
get these jobs, and then like they don't want to do the job because it interferes with their health life. And you're like, I remember having to go to the gym at midnight,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah.
then,
Well,
like,
it's very selfish because yeah, there's a lot to
yeah,
unpack here. But uh I see like what people think as disrespectful is actually you're just being selfish and it's
yeah.
not disrespectful. And then but when then you show up 30 minutes late, that's disrespectful.
Yeah.
Not someone calling you out because you were 30 minutes late. No, you arriving 30 minutes late is that's the disrespectful
I think I
act.
know what you're
Like,
talking about, that video. I think you might be talking about a specific video where I'm not going to say who it was because everyone will get in trouble. But it was a very specific kind of person, and they were like, it was a good teachable moment because they were upset that I was 45 minutes late. So I was able to teach them why I'm allowed to be 45 minutes late because my culture this is normal. You're not supposed to be on time. You're supposed to be late. And now because they don't understand my culture, it was a teachable moment. And then the person says that they sat there and explained to the whole family that was not their family. They were a girlfriend of
uh,
one of
I
the
don't know that
people. Oh, you don't know what video I'm talking about? If you that would have definitely keyed you in. But they said they explained to the whole family at Thanksgiving or something like their Christmas dinner about why it's rude to expect people to be on time. But the family was like, "Well, we already started eating and everything like that. Like, we
one. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, no,
zing.
yeah. I see a lot more like selfishness and that supposedly like disrespect. And I grew up in the country, like in the country and then also the city. And whether people like it or not, there is a gentleman culture of disrespect or versus respect. And I'm sure you know about it in New York City.
Yeah.
There is that you don't disrespect me, that type of thing. And then I have to um remind people that don't or never did live in like the city disrespect culture, the country, like redneck hickey, okay, because they had the same thing, where if you tell someone to do it and it's not the right tone for them, then they'll do the opposite
Yep.
because that's disrespectful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
And I
what's
have to, and it's like I like so I grew up around that and I have to temper that because there are I'm probably sure that there have been some times, Thomas, where I'm just like, this was a disrespectful bitch. And I'm just like, okay, wait, hold on. Maybe she wasn't. I have to think about it. Never mind. I'm gonna delete my snap. I'm gonna think about it. And then I'll probably send it back. And like maybe it's I don't know. But I have to work on, is it actually disrespectful or maybe she's just having a bad day or like what are we doing here? Because I automatically think respect, loyalty, and that also is a little bit with Irish American culture as
yeah.
well, especially the loyalty thing. And then if you're not loyal, that's disrespectful. But we're not. what I'm not seeing is loyalty and respect connected.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking shit about people behind their back. It's not gonna happen.
The
But it
hard
happens all the time for other people. It does not make sense to me. Like, I thought you were like best friends with her, for example. They're like, well, no, but like she was just a bitch. And I'm like, then tell her.
Yeah,
Why
be
would they
honest.
do
Yeah.
that? I don't know. Like, that's just weird. You coming to me for 20 minutes saying that your best friend in our circle is a bitch is disrespectful. Like, it's really, I don't know what happened. I
Yeah.
don't know when it happened. It confuses me. It confuses me. I see it a lot.
I mean, you also have to remember, perspective is like the hardest part about behavioral society, and like people are not responsible for our moral or ethics, right? So like I believe this what you're saying, loyalty and respect. Like if I'm gonna cancel, I'm gonna call you and I'm gonna tell you I can't make it. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm committing to that unless something comes up, family health, emergency, those things cancel anything. But like I always tell people, I go, look, if you don't want to do something and it's the last minute, just let me know you don't want to do it. And
Yeah.
as long as you tell me, then you don't have to give me a reason. Like you could just say, oh, I can't make it. And that's enough reason for me because you contacted me. But the thing, like I was actually having this debate with somebody when it comes to perspective because they were using one of the terms I hate, and this is probably going to cause a whole thing, but it's called mansplaining, right? And I go, mansplaining is not a real thing, right? And the reason is because womansplaining isn't a real thing. Like it's just the feeling of being talked down to. It's the feeling that somebody, right? But we don't understand a person's motive unless we talk to them. So if you feel somebody's being disrespectful to you and talking down to you, your job is to speak up, right? If you feel you understand, no, I'm not explaining the mansplaining. I'm explaining perspective, and that the idea is if you're not going to say anything, then the thing you think is happening is only a perspective. It's like one of the things I hate most is when a person becomes angry. I know you're teasing. I love you, Eloise. That's why you're on my list on my videos, on the newer videos. Your name is there. There's a shout out to you with a link, along with other authors I love. But the thing I cannot stand is when people allow perspective to become the reality. And the thing is, your experience is true, but it is not the reality. And it's our job to take our experience and allow ourselves to communicate what that feeling is for clarity, because communication is not silence. And if we become angered or disappointed or react in a way that is based on our perception solely, then ultimately we can't evolve that relationship, because then it becomes that walking away, stonewalling, but it's not. So the important thing is, if I feel somebody is treating me a certain way, I use I statements, right? I'm sure you've heard about this in psychology, right? So it's, I feel that you are treating me a certain way. As long as they don't say that's not true, I'm willing to listen, because it is true that I feel that way. What isn't true is their intent. And if they could explain their intent, I am no longer offended or upset. But most people, going back to the mansplaining or any variation of experience, is usually limited to the perception without the explanation. And then therefore behavior grows. It becomes exponential to the experience. And now the next time it's amplified because you have this growing animosity. Oh, that douchebag. They talk to me like I'm stupid. Well, have you told them how you felt about that? Why? They're going to ignore me anyway. Oh, have they ignored you in the past? Well, no, I don't even bother because, and you're like, well, that's the downfall of communication. That's the breakdown of growth. I mean, therapy 101 is communicating with yourself and other people. It's like creating a boundary. You can't create a boundary in silence because then it's not a boundary. Like you have to literally, right? You got to be like,
I tell people that all the time because, no, I've gotten that I'm scary and I'm confrontational and I'm a bitch, and Lukeman just can go on. But it's when I say, excuse me, I don't like that tone right now. Can we please rephrase that? Because I know we're all very stressed out, but yelling will not calm things down in a stressful situation. That's confrontational. How about just taking a breath and, well, there's a problem with people listen to reply as well. We're not listening to understand.
yes.
And I had to tell a previous coworker a while ago because she was yelling, and I said, "Excuse you. You want to repeat that?" And she's like, "Wait, what do you mean?" And her voice dropped to normal. And I'm like, "You were yelling. Did you realize that you were yelling at me over something that you did?"
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't appreciate that. Let's take it down a little bit, and then we're gonna work it out together. And she's like, "Oh my God, I didn't know. Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And she's never yelled, never raised her voice, didn't do anything like that. But then she was yelling at everyone else. And I said to everyone else working, "Have you told her?" "No, I don't want to do that. Like, that's confrontational. No, I don't really know. That's weird." I'm like, "So you like being yelled at over things that you haven't done?" I'm confused because that I felt very disrespected, and we're gonna bring it full circle. I felt disrespected. You messed something up, and you're taking out your frustration on me. Step it back. Take a breath. No.
Agreed.
And then it's not a problem again. And sometimes you need to be a little bitchy.
But you communicated, and that's the secret. And I
Yes.
think, I think because you go to therapy, you realize because what's the worst that can happen if you talk? They don't like you, fine. Then they're not the person in your life. Like,
yeah. Well, then also they were like, "Oh, they could yell more," and I'm like, "Then walk out."
yeah,
I've walked out before. Bye. You want to speak to me like that? I'm going.
See you later.
And they're like, "No, oh my God, that's not possible." I'm like, you put one foot in front of the other. It is possible. Look at that door. You see the door? Walk.
Yeah, waddle like a duck. Waddle, waddle.
But yeah, there's it's hard for a lot of people, but my thing is, if I can overcome all that childhood trauma and all that intensive therapy and wanting to harm myself and hating everyone and poisoning myself with anger and hatred for so long, I can tell someone, "I don't like that."
Exactly.
It's not difficult for me. But I also have I don't know, I have a high tolerance for, I guess, not caring what others think of me, in the sense of, okay, you think that I'm a bitch because I stood up for myself in a professional way, not like I'm swinging at you. That's not, no, but in a professional way, I'm going to say, I have a problem with this, this, and that. Let's work on it. That counts as being bitchy. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
They're in the wrong, though.
Yeah. And well, it could be sexist or not. I don't care. Either way, good luck. I don't like, if me or someone else standing up for themselves is bad, then that's your problem, not mine.
The rule is you should stand up for yourself, especially if you feel you are being treated disrespectfully. You have to learn. You have to I'm feeling this way. Something is not right. I need to
Mhm.
communicate this so I know if you're crazy, you know, and you should be stopping that. I need to create the boundary. If you're going to yell, and I know you're yelling at me for a wrong reason because I feel that way, and I find out that that is the reason, then you must know that this is the boundary. I will walk away from you or you if you do that again. Let me tell you about a situation. I would love to hear your thoughts on this because I appreciate your intelligence.
Oh, thank you.
So one time there was this guy, and we were working together on something. And I said, "Hey, listen, I'm going to work on these things. Can you work on these things?" And he goes, "Yes." And I go, "Great." I go, "Do you need any advice or information on it? Because you know that I have an expertise in that. I can guide you, and then you can kind of go run with it." And they go, "No, no, I'll be fine. I know what I'm doing." And I said, "Fine." I said, "Can you get it done by next Friday?" So that would be 2 weeks. And he, yes. So then I waited until the first Friday, and I said, "Hey, I'm just doing a checkup. How you doing with that project? How's it coming along?" He goes, "Oh, great. I've been working on it. It's coming along great." I go, "Do you have any questions? Do you need any help?" Again, you know, I gave in the halfway point, which you're supposed to as a leader, you know, as somebody, you know, you check in, but you don't micromanage. But I was like, "Do you need anything?" No, no, no. I got it. I know what I'm doing. And I said, "Great." So then it was the Wednesday before the Friday, and I said, "Hey, are you still good for Friday? Did you get that stuff done?" You know, and he goes, "Oh yeah, yeah, I'm almost completely done. I got it." I go, "Do you need any help? Is there anything stopping you? Any issues?" "No, no, I'm good." I said, "Great." Friday comes. I go, "Hey, it's Friday. Do you want to go over that stuff?" And he goes, "Yeah, yeah." He opens up the screen. The only thing on the document are the 4 things that he wrote down that I told him to write down to work on. And I go, "Oh, you didn't do anything?" He goes, "Yeah, I did." And I said, "But the parameters were to fill out the document with the information. Do you have the information?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "Well, what is it?" He goes, "Well, I don't have it all right available. You know, I still have to put it into the sheet." I go, you said you had been putting it in the sheet and that you were doing the thing." And he goes, "No, I did do the thing." And I'm looking at the blank screen and I go, "Where is it?" And he goes, "Well, it's not in this document." Oh, you created a new document. Let's look at that. And he goes, "No."
It's in my brain. Is that where we're going from?
No, he said it wasn't even in his brain because he was still kind of
Oh,
orchestrating the information before. And I was like,
he
so,
is playing you.
wait, it gets better. It gets better. So then I said, well, why isn't it written?" He goes, "Well, it's not that it's not written. Like, you know, I did the work. It's just I didn't really understand what it is you were looking for." I was like, "What?" He goes, "Well, I didn't know what exactly it is you were looking for. So how did you get it done? And how are you working on it? And how is it blank? But you're telling me it isn't blank because you're saying it's done, but you don't know how or what it is I wanted, even though we talked about it. The 4 things I talked about are right there on the sheet, the only thing on the sheet." And I go, "That means you lied to me." And he goes, "I didn't lie to you." And I
Yeah,
said,
that's disrespectful. So,
so I said to him, "Well, let me define what lying is, and then you tell me if you did that thing." Can you hear
yeah.
me rage in corporation? Yeah, I was raging in silence. I was like, my eyes were out, and "Okay, so lying for me, because I know it could be different. Let's imagine the dictionary doesn't exist. I'm going to tell you what I feel lying is. Lying is when you say something and then the results prove otherwise."
That's good. Yeah.
Right?
Basic.
And I go, "Would you say you lied to me?" And he goes, "No." And I go, "Why do you feel you did not lie to me?" And he goes, "Because I did the thing I said I would do." I don't get angry.
Wait, is that a writer who's being paid like thousands of dollars?
No, No,
Okay.
it was a kid that I took under my wings to mentor because he
Mhm,
asked me to, and he says, "I'll help you." This was after COVID. He goes, "I'll help you with your business because you did so much for my career." Because I got him out of working and into the music industry, and
mhm.
he goes, just let me be your right hand, and I just tell me what to do and how to do it, and I'll do it, and you teach me. And I go, great. And during that process, that was our daily routine. He
That
would
you can't function.
No, I kicked him. I said, you gotta leave. You are not a part of this. Go do your own thing.
Yeah, for
Uh,
whatever reason, he can't function and follow directions and pay attention and, like,
well, let's say all that is. Let's say that's not
and
true.
I
Let's say he can do those things. Would you agree or disagree that he lied?
oh, yeah, he did.
And would you agree or disagree that he actually did not do the thing he was supposed to
Yeah.
do?
Oh, no, he didn't.
That would
Yeah,
have
that'd be
all.
fun.
I
Yeah, that would
mean,
be I'm like, "Get out." Thank you. Oh,
I
yeah,
like to straight to jail. The amount. Yeah, well, the world is so bonkers.
oh, yeah, that's not yeah. I miss stuff, I miss stuff. Oh.
My husband, not an accountant, attempted to explain an accountant how taxes work. That is some mansplaining. I almost had something to say, but then you said I boundaried him so hard, and I was like, well, then you communicated. And therefore, you fix the issue.
Yeah, um, I are because I've been in therapy for so long and my mom's a psychotherapist, so the communication is there. But I also am enjoying the Seven Principles to Making Marriage Work by John Gottman. Everyone in a relationship or married, go get it. Very much focusing on communication, and some people are like, "Oh my God, is your marriage okay? Are you okay? Are you getting divorced?" I'm like,
Drinking enough
"No, I'm
water?
just really into bettering the partnership. For
That's what
one
it is,
thing,
partnership.
that is a mind-blowing moment for a lot of people,
Yeah.
which is bad. But then you should always be working on communicating and communicating very well, or at least working on it. Like, but a there are like a few examples where, bye Eloise, tinkle tinkle. Where, like, I've been speaking, like, just to acquaintances or friends or family, whatever, and then they ask for advice, and then they set up a scenario, and they're like, "My husband and I got into a fight over food." And I'm like, "Okay, lay that out for me." And so it was like, "Oh, well, I just don't feel comfortable telling him that I don't want pizza, so we always get pizza." But um then I was like really quiet and I didn't touch my slice. And then he asked why. And then I was like, no, I don't know why. I mean, I don't know. I just said I don't know.
That's on her.
And
That's
then I was
crazy.
like, oh, oh, I see where this is going. And so then they got into a fight.
Of course. 100%. Absolutely.
And so I'm just like, why do you why can't you say that you don't want pizza?
Yeah.
Because you don't like it anymore or you didn't like it before. I don't know. Like, just now you could say, husband, we've had a lot of pizza lately, and I appreciate you buying the pizza. And
Yeah.
I know that you love pizza, but I cannot do it anymore. Can we try something else?
Yeah. Divorce.
Or no, or can we try two things? Like, we have options, not just one thing, two things. And she's like, no. It's like, it's how is that hard? I really am missing it. My husband and I had a conversation, and that would probably freak a lot of people out. We're driving, and he's like, "What do you want for dinner?" I'm like, "Chipotle." He said, "No." Pizza? No. Pho? Okay, maybe pho. How about sushi? No, we don't. No, I don't think so, babe. No. And we're just sitting there. Okay, pho?
Huh?
Yeah, let's do it. And it's like, it's because he said no that people freak out because they don't want to hear no. But I'd rather hear no or
Yeah.
yes than nothing.
Yeah, you got to
Because
come up with a plan.
where was the fight? There's no fight. But
Yeah.
people really think that no is considered a fight. I'm like,
No, it's the start of
have
a
you ever been in
conversation.
a fight? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a fight? Someone says no and you think that's a personal attack. I mean, it
Well,
depends on how.
denial is abusive.
Yeah.
Oh, they denied me. They're not denying. You want Chipotle that bad? For me, I'd be like, why don't we go get you Chipotle?
And
And
then you
then
get
I'd be like,
something.
I'll go get my pizza.
Yeah.
But I also, my secret is, and don't tell anyone this, please. This is just between you and me, okay, Nicole?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. My secret is, if a girl says, what do you want? I go, I'm thinking your favorite. You have to guess, but I'm thinking your favorite restaurant. You know I am. And then whatever they say, I go, that's it. You got it. Let's go. Because I could eat
with
anything.
Yeah, I think there are also people that are like, I don't know, but they do know, but they don't want to be denied.
Well,
And that's
when
why
I
they
say I don't know, it's really I don't care. Because like if I
That
was
is
by
true.
myself, I'll eat anything. I literally have eaten bread sandwiches where you take 3 slices of bread. You have a bottom and a top and a bread in the middle because I just want to get rid of the hunger taste and then get back to whatever I'm doing. But like if somebody wants to eat, I get it. Like you just tell me what you want. Well, I want you to make the decisions. Okay, pizza. Well, I don't want pizza. Well, then you don't want me to make the decisions.
Yeah. Yes. No, but there is also like there's things that my husband and I will do or say whatever. So we're walking through a grocery store, and then he's what, like it's not soda, it was a energy drink whatever, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna get this many. I don't drink energy drinks, but he's like, I'm gonna get this many. And I was like, wouldn't that be better at the commissary, because all that stuff. And then an old lady walks by, and we're just talking about calmly, talking about the savings and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. She's like, don't fight, you all, don't fight. And I'm like, oh, you haven't seen fighting. Okay.
Yeah.
We're just talking. It's really weird.
We're working through it.
Yeah, I know. Well, but then I asked him, I was like, did she think she was being funny? And he was like, no, because she was like, her eyes were bugged out.
Probably comes from a time where you're not allowed to debate, talk back to the husband, which is crazy.
Yeah,
you should be able to speak your mind.
Public. Yeah.
No, I'm so laid back though. I hate using the term I don't care, but like it's like I'm not affected by it enough to be, like whatever you want to do, let's do it.
Yeah. When I have noticed when people say I don't care, there's a lot of emotion, and then it's like you care. So when people now say I don't care, I'm like, but do you know what that means?
Yeah, it means whatever.
But like they don't. It's I don't care. No, but actually I do care. But I'm trying not to say that.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. There are people.
Yeah, but then so like when I say, okay, I don't care. Do whatever you want to do. People like, no, but are you sure? I'm like, I don't know this person.
Yeah,
I don't care. But they're like, no, but like, but you do because like they're famous. I'm like, what effect does that have on me?
Yeah.
On what they said on a TMZ video. I don't care. But people miss the phrase I don't care now. Like if it doesn't affect me, then it's not in my mind.
Yeah.
If something's not in your mind because it doesn't affect you and you're not thinking about it, it's not caring.
I communicate my emotions fairly well nowadays because I like to talk through things because I don't want my perception to be what I feel is actually happening, because I do have anxieties, I do have chronic depression, I do have OCD, I do have, right? But I also I have a photographic memory, so I'm constantly seeing pattern replay. So like when someone's talking to me or behaving around me, my brain is seeing that moment in the present and then orchestrating a slew of past experiences. And then my brain is just basically going, is this different? Is there an adjustment? What is off about this? And if I start feeling that way, I need to I start having a conversation, but not as an attack, but more of like clarification, like, but I've always just been communicate. Yeah, it's
I love that.
Yeah.
I have like at least once a day I'll ask my husband, can you clarify that?
Yeah.
Because that didn't sound right. Right. And then, oh my gosh, look, nothing happens except we're getting stronger. I see a therapist, but then we do couples therapy with my therapist. And what was very striking was my husband and I have a very close relationship because we disagree and we fight or whatever, or we have debates, but it's always resolved compared to like most of my other relationships or like family friend, like it doesn't have to be romantic or anything. The relationships where there's a fight, no resolve. There's a debate, you're called a bitch, and you get walked off and you're like 13 by your grandparents because they're drunk. There's no resolution here. It's just problem. But like with my husband, there's a problem, we solve it, and then we it's every single time. So I think the best relationships, doesn't matter if it's romantic or not, are you face the problem, you communicate, and then resolve it in one way or another. And that also means compromise, because there are things where personal experience or something like that where you're not going to be eye to eye, but we're going to compromise, like the smallest thing, or at least I think it's the smallest thing of, I can't have pizza anymore, but we have Friday night pizzas. Okay, well, let's budget something else, but you can also have your pizza. Maybe you do a personal pan pizza and I do pasta, like compromise, right? But we're still
compromise,
resolving the issue at hand. And I thought it was interesting where that relationships are a series of debates, arguments, and fights, but what is the good relationship through versus a bad relationship is how it ends. And then how does that play out the majority of time? Because there have been some times where I'm like, okay, we've been arguing for 4 hours, we're done. And sometimes that's the resolution here. But then the next day, okay, let's spend some time together. We're going to go out for brunch. We're not going to talk about what happened. Yeah, we're just going to calm down a little bit. And then we can get home and then we can resolve. Or maybe we're not going to resolve. We're going to compromise, and then we're going to say, I'm so sorry. And that in itself is a resolve and some type of resolution. But yeah, people aren't doing like most of that. So when you have like the relationship that is strong, people don't get it, or they're jealous, or they're upset.
Oh yeah.
Or they don't get, like the comprehension is not there.
They get weird. They get weird. Speaking of miscommunication, I was when they discovered my cancer, I was in the hospital for like a week, right? And they discovered it while I was in the hospital. But a girl I was with at the time, she told me that I cheated on her in the hospital. And I said, with who?
Yeah.
And she said, your friend. And I go, my friend who lives in another state. And she goes, yeah, she flew out, was with you, and then she went back home. Now that's a big accusation because there's a lot of details there. So I said, 1 second, and I called her up, put her on speakerphone. I go, hey, did you fly out and sleep with me while I was sleeping or something? And the girl was like, no, I don't have the money to fly out to see. I was like, oh, because apparently you but like the ex-girlfriend was there, and I was like, and I was like, and then we hung up, and she was like, well, obviously she's not going to admit to it. And I was like, I go, you shouldn't be with me if you think in your heart that happened, because I wouldn't be with you if I thought you were doing these things. Not that I'm polyamorous, so I'm okay with multiple relationships, but if I felt you were betraying a trust, right? Oddly enough, within 2 weeks, I broke up. We were together for like 5 years, and I was just like, we're done. I go, if I die from the surgery or cancer, I would rather die knowing like I'm going out happy. I need you gone. Yeah. I was like, you're done. I go, this sounds like a relationship thing, and we're not in a relationship anymore, because that's
odd.
Yeah, her behavior was very like one time she was like, I know, because you wore a shirt and I can't find that shirt. And I was like, I think it's in the hamper. You put it in the hamper to clean it, and I was like, we're not even together. Like, what's going on? You're supposed to be moving out.
No, there are that's I could say a trauma of that men and women, but I see it a lot with women, where there's a specific, like, they saw it and they think that is love. And there are some women where it's the man that I'm dating has to be extremely jealous or he doesn't love me, because that's what my mom and dad had, and it was passionate and beautiful, and you need to be upset every single time a stranger at a bar or whatever just even slightly glances at me, and then they'll fight about it, and it's so freaking weird. But that's what they have internalized, and it is dramatic. And like, growing up thinking that the only type of love, true love, is
trauma
is but then so you now expect your spouse, every time a man looks at you, to flip out.
Yeah, no, you can't. I've been with girls for where they would say things like, "Oh, I saw you like somebody's picture," or you can't be friends with this girl. And I go, look, if that's a boundary you need in a relationship, we can't be in a relationship, because my boundary is that I don't want to cut people out of my life. And then people be like, well, but if you love the girl, and I go, but that's not love to me. Love is not restriction. Love is if she was like, look, I don't want you to sleep with anyone else. Well, all right. Well, then I can absolutely be friends with girls, because I will respect that boundary, But if on top of the boundary of don't sleep with anybody else, because I want you to be monogamous, which if somebody really asked that, and maybe in the past that was someone I would agree to, and then they also say I have to stop being friends with certain people, I go, we can't be together, because that's a different thing. That's, you don't trust me, and I don't think you should be with me if you can't trust me, because one of my boundaries is I need to be trusted, And then that always was interesting to me, because I was with a girl that once was telling me I had to stop talking to a friend. That's all they ever were, but they had boobs. And she was telling me this getting ready to sleep over her ex-boyfriend's house, because she was out late drinking with the ex-boyfriend after a dinner that turned into drinks. And she was telling me on the phone that I have to stop talking to this girl that was a friend that I've known since I was like 12 or something. So it was like 20 years at this point. I knew this, and I was like, "Are you telling me this at your ex-boyfriend?"
That's
and she's
also
like, "Looks different."
So egotistical. I'm like, are you that amazing? I
No,
don't think you.
no one is that amazing.
No, I
No.
don't think that's it. Well, it's also I'm sorry, but there's some like you see it a lot on like TikTok, which I don't watch. I'm not on TikTok, but then you have like reactors that are seeing like um the men and women where they're like, I don't understand why I'm not married yet. I am gorgeous. And why don't you want to be with me? And I'm like, I can tell you. I mean, do you want
I need a
do
man
you
in finance,
do
6'5",
you
blue eyes.
I know. Okay, but and then I'm like, I can tell you, but then also what do you bring to the table? She's like,
I
I'm
am the
gorgeous.
table.
I know. Oh, are you?
I've
Okay.
seen you tabled by 6 guys in a row, so
I don't think that it's great. Like, what do you do? Like, oh, I'm in between jobs right now.
oh. But
What do you bring to the table? I'm sorry. In a partnership, you gotta bring stuff.
and it doesn't have to be financial, by the way.
Yeah, it doesn't have.
It could
You
be
could be.
something.
Yeah, you gotta get something,
Yeah,
something.
besides the nudity, because
Or, I mean, there are some. I don't even know how many actually, but let's just say there are some guys that are like, I just want someone who is hot and does what I want her to do. I'm sure there's
if
some
they both
there.
agree to that, that's
If
fine.
they agree with it, then, but I don't think there's that many guys like that. There's not. So is that what you want? But they don't want that. They want to be taken care of, but then they're, what do you bring? What do you, I don't,
I just want two
I'm
things
so
from
confused
somebody.
at this trend.
I want a
As
partnership.
a woman, I am
Yeah,
confused
yeah.
at this trend.
No,
Okay.
I go, look, I'm looking for two things: partnership, where like basically we're each other's teammate and we're there to
Mhm.
help one another achieve the goals and desires that the other person has without restraining them to achieve said goals. So if I want to be an actor, don't be upset that I have to be at work at 3 a.m. Or that like I have a crazy schedule or I'm going on tour because I'm a comedian. If that's not what you want as a partnership, I'm not the relationship. The second thing I want is to be left alone. And what that means is don't tell me how the spoons go in the drawer. Like that to me is a you thing. If I put the spoons in the drawer wrong and you like it a certain way, then you fix it because I put it in the drawer how I like it. But I don't need you to have me stand there and you give me a 15-minute lecture on how spoons go in the drawer. Or if I start doing
Yeah.
the dishes and you start going, no, 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 dishes are done like this. Or, you know, whatever the case, like, hey, when I come home, I expect the house to be clean because you were home all day. And I go, no, I work from home.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, yeah, but that means you were home all day. And yeah, but I was working all day. Yeah, but you could have cleaned. No, no, I was working.
Yeah.
It's a job. Like I have meetings and I have things I have to do for 10 hours a day. Yeah, but you were here.
And time to go.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like leave me like if that was the other thing like if somebody's like, "Oh, you have to throw out the garbage." And I go, "Why?" And they go, "Cuz it's full." And I go, "So you can't throw out the garbage." And they go, "Yeah, but you're supposed to throw out the garbage." Now you're bothering me. Right? Because if I see the garbage full, I'm going to take the garbage out. But if you see the garbage full and you tell me I should have taken it out, now you're bothering me. If you want me to be the one who takes the garbage out,
You
all
just
you have to do is go, "Hey, the garbage is heavy for me.
mm-hmm.
Can you please take the garbage out?" And I say yes. Then I'm not supposed to take the garbage out on your schedule. I will take the garbage out, but not on your schedule. Because if I come home from a 16-hour day on set and then you go, "You didn't throw out the garbage." And I go, "I've been on set all day." "Well, you should have threw it out beforehand." And then I go, "Well, when did it get full?" And they say, "Well, around 6 o'clock after I made dinner." I go, "Why am I being yelled at for this? I want to go
Yeah.
to sleep." Now you're
Yeah.
bothering me.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what I mean?
that's yeah. People don't want to talk about all of that stuff, but a successful, healthy relationship is that. and it's gonna it changes.
Yeah.
And I hate, and I'm not a huge fan of the, oh, it's 50-50. No, it's not.
No.
No,
Sometimes
it's
it's 70-30.
not.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it switches
Mhm.
to
If I'm
30-70.
down with the flu,
You
it's
better throw out that garbage, Nicole.
yeah. Well, no, if I'm down with the flu, husband is doing the 100% for the 2 weeks. Okay, and then like, oh, maybe he's hurt his knee somehow, and he can only do 30%. Now I'm doing all the other percent. It changes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when I think a lot of like relationship advice is not good, especially whenever they bring up it's a team and it's 50-50. No, it's not.
The
So
partnership.
yeah, you're setting up like these 17, 18, 19-year-olds that you're, targeting, right?
Yeah.
As your target audience, saying 50-50 and know your worth and have like the highest possible like expectations. No.
Well, but also
Sorry.
like if you're with somebody and they go, look, I need the house clean every Saturday. Like then clean the house every Saturday. No, but I need the house cleaned every Saturday. Yeah, but what does that have to do with me? Well, I need you to clean the house every Saturday with me. Does that mean every Saturday I have no plans other than to clean the house? Because I don't need the house cleaned every Saturday. Yeah, but that's what I want. So you can do that though. If I wasn't here, you'd have to clean the house every Saturday, right? Yeah, but because you're here, I want you to either help me, or why can't you clean up during the week so when Saturday comes here, it's not as difficult for me? I go, that's you bothering me, because there are things I want that I do not bestow upon you because they are my thing. And I think that's an important thing to understand about relationships. There's a difference between, can you help me clean?
Yeah.
Right? Versus the house needs to be cleaned every Saturday.
Yeah.
Right?
Or,
well, why is it Saturday? Well, that's my day off. Well, that's not my day off.
That's not my day off.
I gotta go to do comedy clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why?
Because it pays the bills. How much are you paying?
Well, that was the thing. Like, I didn't have a real job. That was always the argument. I go, I make more money than you, though.
Yeah. Who's paying the bill?
Right? So I know it sounds a little crazy on my end. Like, oh, well, if they want you to clean a house, clean that. I'm not saying I don't clean the house. I'm saying I clean on my time.
Yeah.
Like if the bowl is dirty, if the toilet bowl is dirty, I'm going to clean it. Right. But I'm not going to clean the bowl every Saturday at 3:00. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just not. But if you need the bowl cleaned on every Saturday at 3:00, I'm not going to stop you from cleaning the bowl. Even if I clean the bowl at 2:00 on Saturday, and then 3:00 comes, and then you're like, well, I have to clean it again, I will not be upset that you cleaned the bowl. I will also not be upset if I clean the bowl and you think I didn't clean it well enough, and then you clean it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, that wouldn't bother me. If I put the spoons in the drawer wrong, and in your head, you need the spoons to be perpendicular to the sun, and you change it again, that does not bother me. If I clean the dishes and put them into the dishwasher, but then you don't like how I put them in the dishwasher, so you rearrange it, that does not bother me. But if someone goes, that's not how you put it in the dishwasher, then I have to say you are bothering me, because you're telling me how you would put it in the dishwasher. You're not telling me, you're saying my way is wrong, but it is not wrong, because before I met you, I was cleaning dishes without issue. But there's nothing wrong with you wanting the dishes done a certain way when you do it. And you can do the dishes however you want. Just don't tell me, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think some people get a little nervous with that. They realize, they go, well, I'm going to conform. Was that happy wife, happy life? And it's like, no, you do not have to do the things they demand upon you, but you do have responsibilities. Like, it is our responsibility to clean the house, but I don't have to clean it on your time, just like you don't have to clean it on my time. But the same thing is, we have to eat. Like, when I go food shopping, even now, I'm like, just throw whatever you want in the basket. I don't care. You know, like I'm okay with money. So I'm not like sitting there with the calculator, you know, bringing it up. Oh, you owe me that. Like, I don't think like I dated a girl that sent me a receipt and said, you have to give me half of this. And I go, why? And she goes, well, because I bought groceries. And I go, you went to a food store and literally bought only what you eat, and I can't eat. I have allergies, and you want me to pay for the food I will not eat. And then she goes, well, why do you go out and buy food every day? And I go, because if I go out and buy breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that's about the same amount of money I would spend on groceries. So now I don't have to clean anything and I don't have to cook anything. And I live in Brooklyn, so I only have to walk to the corner.
Oh, yeah. Brooklyn. I was like, where are you living in Ohio?
Yeah, it was Brooklyn. Right? And then she'd be like, yeah, but I bought all this food. Well, that doesn't have anything to do with me. Oh, well, you don't share in the bills then. I go, I pay the bills.
Yeah. Yeah, people also forget, like, who's paying most of the bills?
Yeah, sorry, that's the other thing. Like, money doesn't bother me, but like when you start making it an issue, then I'm just like,
oh yeah.
Now it bothers me because you're bothering me. You know, like whatever. I'm very calm with that stuff, but I just don't bother me. Like, imagine you wake up, Nicole, right? And you go, I don't really care about the bed being made. And then I say, but I do. Right? That means on your time, maybe occasionally you'll make the bed. But I know that I need to make the bed. But because you don't care if the bed is made or not, you're not going to be upset with me if I make the bed. But a problem will occur if I start telling you that you have to make the bed. Because you don't have to make I need the bed made. And that's where like it starts getting really weird between couples because they think the thing I want has to be the thing you want. It's like your argument before. Well, I can't eat pizza anymore. Well, I like pizza, so you have to eat pizza. Well, but I can't. I don't want to eat it. Well, it's Friday pizza night. You have to eat pizza. Like they think that's the reality.
That wasn't even brought up. I would like, that would be a better debate than you just sitting there stuffing your face and then after 5 months you can't have pizza, but then you still say you don't want pizza.
I don't want the pizza. I mean, I couldn't be with that person. You have to eat pizza every day. So,
what I think is really interesting when you look at matchmaking, for example, like the Jewish matchmaking and Indian matchmaking.
Oh yeah,
on Netflix, love them. Okay, so Auntie Zima, who's the Indian matchmaker. And it's like arranged marriages, but like
but it's still a process. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can say no to the arrangements.
Yeah, you can. But then you also the lists of some of these people, men and women. It's not just women, men and women. 20 different things. And then Auntie Zima's like, oh, we could do like 70 to 80% of that. And they're like, no, but like I'm perfect and this is my perfect, like you can't. No, but I'm paying you. And she's like, that doesn't exist. In my database, I know every single person in this database. That doesn't exist. Do you want to continue? Do you want a life partner? Do you want a best friend? Do you want someone to be there for you no matter what? That's what we're looking for. And
yeah,
they're like,
finance.
Yeah. But then there's like, yeah, but like, why can't he be 6 foot and a millionaire and also be a poet and be a comedian and,
why can't you be in shape? Oh, that's body shaming. But you want me to be 6 foot.
Yeah.
I can't control that.
There's like, you have your whole 20 list, right?
Yeah.
That is a Disney thing. Disney Prince Charming. Where are we getting this from? I mean, 8 billion people. Yeah, but
I've never fallen in love with a girl that was.
It's not going to happen.
List. Yeah, no, I fall in love with women. Yeah.
And Auntie Zima's like, 70 to 80%. Why don't you give it a try? I'll get you 70 to 80%.
I get you to 70%, maybe 80% if you throw in some sheep.
Yeah.
Like they
You
used
know,
to do back in the day, where like you'd be like, "I'll give you some of my herd," and like when they would do like you'd have to pay like a tithing to the marriage.
no, but like it blows their mind that they can't get absolute perfection.
Yeah,
It's like it's not real. Like I don't.
you can get close to your needed boundaries, but once you start talking about quote unquote preferences that can't be controlled, now you're outside the bounds of potential. Like the randomization,
Really
yeah,
narrow
like
down. That was the same. I think it was worked with like was it Millionaire Matchmaker, where
mhm.
like look, it's not even about money, but they have to be successful, and so then you cut out the money part, and it's like personality and looks up the ass because like it's the Millionaire's Club with the matchmaking. Money's not a factor. We're all, $50 million. Got it. Okay. So then they just go crazy with everything else. And it's like, that's not possible. But you hit the American dream where you're a millionaire, but you want like a Princess Diana. I don't think that's gonna happen.
I know she's dead.
Yeah. But Princess Diana 2.0. Thank you.
Yeah, when I meet a girl, it's always important to say to myself, I have to develop a friendship.
Yeah.
Anytime I've broken that rule, I was in a terrible relationship. But everybody that I built a friendship with first,
Mhm.
and then was in a relationship with, that relationship ended eventually, but I remained friends with them, and it was still a healthy situation. It just turned out to be one of those things where you communicate and they say, I'm looking for XYZ, and I go, all right, because people can change. Like you can get a relationship and people could be like, I don't want kids, and then one day they're like, I think I want kids, and
Mm.
you should find someone where you want kids, because
Yeah.
I know I will not be able to give you the kids, and that's okay. Like that is not like you can't hate somebody for for changing their mind, because things happen. We change our minds. We create different experiences, etc., etc. And like a very adult thing is to be respectful of that. And but with that said, I try to find people that I can be friends with, and I try to step away from my attraction to them in the sense of desire, because desire is really what gets in the way. Desire is what turns it into you're not listening.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
just
lust.
you're craving.
Mhm.
Go ahead. You were gonna say something?
Well, that's lust, and you're not really thinking things through
Yeah, yeah. And don't get me wrong. Sometimes lust is fun, like on a Tuesday, but like
there. Tuesday.
there's no depth. There's no, you can do whatever you want, but like for me, I can't be in a relationship where it's sexual first, because
Mhm.
uh
Yeah.
there's a really funny, like a lot of people that know me but like don't really know me, as I get to know them, it usually comes out that they were like, oh, I always thought you were a slut, but I didn't realize you don't sleep around. I was like, well, because I was in a band, but I was Telmore and Altanian on stage. And when girls were into me, I would go, what's my name? And they go, Telmore and Altanian. And I go, what's my real name? And they go, Telmore and Altanian. And I go, well, then I must pass. And they'd be like, what? And I go, well, you don't know me. I don't know you. We have nothing in common. And they'd be like, but look at me. And I'm like, I'm not, that doesn't, you know how many people have those? Like they're literally I'm looking around the room and there's two of every one of them, but people couldn't believe me. It was hard to believe. They're like, women were throwing themselves at you and you said no to them. I go, yeah, because it's not interesting to me, because I want to wake up on Saturday. That idea where it's like, I want to go out on Friday and I want to wake up with you on Saturday. Like that's the kind of girl I want. I want a girl that I know that I want to see them. I want them. Not that I want, we are tethered together forever. No, but I want somebody that I enjoy being around, and not just somebody that was aesthetically pleasing. I've been with women that were considered overweight, and people were like, how do you find her attractive? I go, she's beautiful. And they'd be like, how? I go, because when we spend time together, I'm happy to be around. Like, I enjoy listening to her speak. I enjoy her ideas, her thoughts, her ambitions are beautiful. The way she makes me laugh, or she laughs. It might sound cliche, but like seeing her smile makes me smile. And they're like, yeah, but she's like not in shape. And I go, what does that have to do?
Yeah, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And then, oh yeah, there's like a family friend, was it her daughter, whatever, was dating this guy, and her mom, she wasn't there. It was just like a few of us, and her mom was like, I don't think he's attractive at all, but she thinks he's the hottest guy on earth, and that's what counts because
100%.
she's with him. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. I get that a lot with my husband and I. And then but then I'm like, yeah, so I've dated musicians and models, and no. Okay. They could be hot, and they were hot, and like models, hi. But what's up there?
Yeah.
Nothing was up there for them.
Because they don't have carbs.
Yeah, it was like talking to a
You need
wall.
carbs for your brain to work.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so you can look like the, quote unquote 10
Yeah.
out of 10. But what else do you have?
Yeah, what's cooking up there? What do we have in common?
Have a conversation. Yeah, where's the conversation? Oh,
Yeah.
there is none. Okay, well, it's not gonna work. Do you read? No, I haven't read anything for like a decade. Okay, well, that's not gonna happen. What do you do? I model and I work out. My God, so it's not gonna happen. Like, it doesn't.
Yeah. But even if you don't have lots in common, you have to have something in common, because that's the common denominator. That's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, if, like they're, models will date other models, or like, other people in that industry, whatever, because that's what they know, and like that's cool. But that just going for someone attractive doesn't.
Yeah, no.
It
always
doesn't
falls
work
down, because you
all the
start
time.
dating them and you realize, oh,
There's nothing
they
here.
are a sociopath. There's something going on. But one time I was in a relationship, and it was like ending, and I just had started really acting, and they're like, you're gonna find somebody, and you're gonna cheat on me. And I was like, no, because I'm with you.
Yeah.
Right. And then we broke up, and then like some time had passed,
Mhm.
like a good amount of time, maybe 6 months to a year, and I started seeing someone else, who was in a play with me. And then I ran into my ex, and she was like, oh, how's life, or whatever. And I was like, good. How's life with you? She's like, I found somebody. I was like, oh, great. And she's like, how about you? I go, yeah, I'm kind of seeing this person. And like, oh, how'd you meet? I go, in a play. She's like, I knew you were going to find some. I go, we're not together. And that's how I found, like, if we were together, that wouldn't have happened. So you weren't right. Like, but again, I broke my rule with both those people, by the way, 2 people in a row. And that I had to fix that with therapy.
Yay,
I was like, what's going on? Why can't I think I messed up somewhere.
Well, it's good to get help. And we could have wrapped this up. We only did one sprint, but I think it was cathartic for many people. And I think this was productive, even though if you did not write, hi me, on our one sprint. Why does it almost always happen? It's fine. So
Yeah.
But talking things out and chillaxing and having nice, healthy debates is productive, everyone. And maybe you got some relationship advice.
Which you can use for your writing, because if you look at your characters and you debate their processes and positions, you can turn that into strong natural dialogue. You could turn that into character arcs, because if you understand their position and then you try to argue, how do I disrupt this position, or what can I do in the story that will change their position completely, somewhat, or maybe not at all. And by the way, if a position, something somebody believes in, doesn't change at all, it actually still changes them, because now they have what? Doubled down. So they become convicted to that idea. It's not a negative or a positive. It's just now we know, because they did not change completely or slightly, and they conformed, and they were like, I stand by what I believe. That becomes a double down. It means you can continue to challenge them and see if they continue to stand firm to their belief. So tonight's debate discussion can help you with that.
It was great. Thank you so much, everyone. Buttercups, bunnies. I love you, bunny buttercups. And we'll see you in, I don't know, like a couple weeks. All of the live streams for June and July are up. Actually, I might double check that with Thomas afterwards. There might be one missing. But yeah, we're going to take like a little summer break.
2 weeks, right? Or
yeah,
right? The 27th is when we come back.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then something in July. But I mean, I need a break because I burned out. You have people visiting, and also in July, I'll be celebrating 7 years with my husband. So like that's a week off. So it's like there's a lot of things going on June and July, so everyone can, chillax.
That's it.
Hopefully.
Okay.
And but I'll still be posting, my regular, book reviews and wrap ups and stuff, all that fun jazz. And Thomas will do all of his craft work as well. So like we're not live streaming. I should have just wrapped that up. That's what I meant.
May I do a plug?
Oh yes, go ahead.
On the Right Mindset, I will be starting the memberships, and if you sign up for some of the memberships, some of them have a class attached to them that's in real time. It's a live class only for those members, and you'll be able to see the classes that'll be available. And it's basically like taking a college class where I walk you through the process of one of them would be an outlining class, another will be like working through character arcs and development and stuff like that. So keep an eye out, or both of them, or actually keep your eyes in, and look for the Right Mindset, WRIT.
Oh yeah. Yeah, get that right. That would be weird. The Right Mindset. No, it's that way. That's right there.
Oh, right there.
Right.
It's different on your. It's different on your.
I don't know. Oh, we're gonna wrap this up. It's very nice ending with a nice little laugh. Thank you, everyone. Bye.